Welcome you with the latest here on NewsX. So we are getting you what has happened in Rashtrapati Bhavan, the induction of 22 ministers, 7 of them of cabinet rank, and the rest, of course, 15 of MOS, including those 2 of independent charge affairs.
Is it a promotion or is it just a rejig of the entire thing?
I'll approach this issue from 2 perspectives. I'll leave aside the issue of corruption, and because that's largely an issue which let the judicial structure to decide. What I believe that post 9/11, I would locate a Muslim occupying the space of Ministry of External Affairs. It's very, very important.
Why?
In the context that the entire, I would take the debate to oil economy. Somewhere, oil economy, and if somebody represents you as a Muslim face, and you know the Arab world, I think somewhere it is going to, after many years, it has happened.
Can you actually ignore the charges of graft to actually address the concern of oil or anything else?
I'll just take a very small rescue route, and that is I'm not representative of.
That's right. That's right.
But quick point. I see in this ministry a very important thing: representation of identity and regional identity and aspiration.
We'll come to that.
But Mr. Patra, if I could ask you, Salman Khurshid himself said that when the charges against his trust in himself came out, he was at Oxford and he was asked embarrassing questions. So these questions could again be asked later on when he's abroad, and that could be a big loss of face for the country. Why take that gamble?
Apart from the corruption charges that Mr. Khurshid is facing, as Mr. Murari rightly said, the tantrums that you threw on the media people and the behavior that the country saw through the channel was really disturbing. Projecting this person as one of the most important ministers of the country, I doubt we are going to lose the credibility of the nation itself. This is a very sorry state of affairs, and as Kalyani has also said, corruption has really been put in the backbench, and everything else has been important other than corruption.
Mr. Murari, if you're...
All right.
So, that's the way it is.
That seemed that way.
Gautam, I just really wanted to make a small point. The kind of big story that is going on. We are seeing a Keralite, we are seeing a Bengali, we are seeing a Bihari, we are seeing a Oriya, but we are not finding an Indian anywhere. This is what Rabindranath Tagore has said. Where is the Indian?
That's
a very pertinent point. Very pertinent point that I want to make today is Congress losing the pan-Indian face? Where is an Indian pan-Indian leader here?
Mr. Patra, before we come to that, the latest coming out of
Deepak, just stay with us a little while longer, because what really needs to follow this entire rejig, whatever be the thought process behind this, is the thrust to be carried forward, the reform thrust, and reintroducing the feel good as far as government is concerned in the people. Now, how can that be done with this new face? Let me go across to our guests. Mr. Patra, if I could ask you, what is your expectation now? Do you really expect anything from the government, that it can do something which will enthuse the people about it, or do you feel that this will again be a brilliant opportunity for your party to cash in on the status and the government will continue?
Gautam, the big story is in fact of no consequence to the common man, because let me ask very frankly to the government, they have increased their ministry by 22. Will they in fact increase the number of LPG cylinders to half the number of ministers in the cabinet, that is to 11? They would not. So how the common man on the street is going to be affected by this reshuffle? And until and unless the tears of the common man is wiped out, there is no there's no purpose of any kind of reshuffling or any kind of governance mechanism that is going on. We have a very intelligent Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, and he had promised that 9.2% would be our growth rate, but the growth rate is hovering right now at 5.2%. How this reshuffling is going to help the growth rate is a big question today, and that will become a big story only when the big growth takes place.
Also important, Gautam, is going to be that now that he has bring more corrupt people.
I just wanted to say one thing. I want to ask everyone, if we all knew that all kind of wrong persons were sitting on the wrong places, wrong persons in the wrong places, then why so late? Why the rectification so late? Why not previously? If we all knew that Mr. Sri Prakash Jaiswal was a wrong man who was making mota money out of everything else, then why he was not thrown out at the very first instance?
We don't have too much time in this show right now, but before we end...
Right, certainly you're saying that, and what of course needs to follow is...
Gautam, I want to have a closing statement. statement.
in the party itself.
Yes, 1 minute closing statement. I love a man, and we all love him, Jaspal Bhatti. He is no more. And today, in his lines, I would say that this is all ulta pulta reshuffle, and it's a flop show.
Well, maybe you know BJP's point of view there about ulta pulta. We don't know. There is a thinking going on in the Congress party. One believes
And
that
BJP
one believes that the Congress party would have done what they think is best. A strategy which is aimed at addressing 2014 election concern, Gautam, and that is something which we will see only over a period of time. One only expects that finally the economy comes back to track. That's the most important thing, and corruption issue is addressed, even if it is by rejigging the ministry.
All right, so we'll have to wait and see what really unfolds in the coming days. We're taking a short break at this point, but do stay tuned for more on what's really to follow as far as the overall rejig is concerned for the latest to NewsX.
Keep watching NewsX, and we'll be following this development related to cabinet expansion through the day today.
From the powerhouses to the third world. News and events with global impact.
A better America begins tonight.
A 360-degree view of international stories. I promise you the world. At this